Forgot how fast the start recording button actually functions. But hello, yes, it's I, Joe the Green, back here again with this. Oh, there we go. But yeah, oof, sorry. Yeah, I had some hot chocolate with me, and I tried to close the lid of the cup, and I didn't want to like invert it. It's like one of those cups that have like the small like little flip up tops. I don't know, I'll probably find a thing for it and put it on screen. If not, then oh well. But yeah, that's what I had. I didn't want to like push it in too deep and then break it or something. I don't know. But yeah. Welcome back to these videos. Uh I'm gonna be honest, this is like the third one I've made, and I still don't have a super good way to start these. I'm not super used to them. Uh And like you'd think it'd be closer to like, oh, it's like streaming. You just hit the start streaming button, you start talking. Yeah, no. I mean, like, yes, but no. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't have the best way to explain how it feels. It's more of just you just gotta try it yourself, and then you'll figure it out from that point. But I did record one other one, but that won't be the one that goes up next. This will be the next one, and then the next one will be the one I recorded before that previously. Mostly because I wanted to keep this one going. Uh, and this one will kind of address like the last one, and the one I made beforehand, that one we recorded, didn't really do that. That was recorded with my friend Shaney. Uh, we were talking about a whole different topic than what we're talking about today. So, plus that one was a little rushed, so that one will be shorter than maybe this one. Well, most likely this. Yeah, it's gonna be shorter than this one and the one beforehand. So that'll be a short one. So we'll see how things go with that. But for this one will probably be, if not the same length as the last one, maybe a bit longer. I can't entirely say for sure because I'm currently recording it. So we'll see how it goes when I'm done. But welcome back to these videos. I'm thinking about a name for these. I want to call them like Yap Central or something. That's the name that came to me like a couple minutes ago. I was like, what am I gonna call this? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, Yap Central. That sounds kind of funny. So that sounds like what I will be doing for this one. For this video, I may or may not be showing my actual gameplay for the game I'm currently playing while I'm talking, but we shall see. For those who aren't aware, from last video or like the first one, who haven't seen the first one, I'm just coming in on this one. What I usually do for these, what I plan to do for all these, is basically I just play a game while I do this because it just helps me focus mostly. And no, sometimes it seems like the exact opposite. It was like, yeah, no, you trail off and all this stuff. Like, no, trust me, this is better. This is definitely better than me just kind of sitting in my room talking to myself in sheer silence with nothing to do. Because I don't know, man. My brain would just die. It'd be a painful experience for me and you. So I'm doing you a favor here. So let's not worry about that. But what we are here to talk about is how the last video went, and just today is also the season 2 Legend of Korra, so we're going to talk about it. But we got some stuff to get through first, and what's it called? I do plan on putting chapters on all of these. That's the idea, anyways. Let me know how you guys feel about those. If you care for chapters or if you don't or whatever. It's honestly like I think chapters are cool because I know like when I watch videos, I can kind of just like I'll watch it and then I'll get bored and I'm like, all right, I'm kind of over it. Next thing, but then sometimes like I want to come back and then like I'll watch it when I'm sleeping, and then like, excuse me, I'll watch it when I'm like laying down, then I fall asleep, and then I want to come back, and then So I figured chapters would be helpful, just like a nice quality of life thing for people watching this. So yeah, let me know how you guys feel about the chapters. I try to make them as accurate as possible, but we shall see how they go. But yeah, the last video did pretty decently. I didn't think it would do that great. I mean, like it hit like 20 in like a day, or like over the course of like a day, or like a day and a half, and I was like, yep, that's about as much as I expected. Cool. So I'll probably still make more of these because this seems fun, and 20 is about as much as I expected. So neat. And then I went to bed, and then I got up, and I didn't check it for like the whole second day, and then I checked it around like 8 o'clock at night, and then I was like, oh, it's at like 50. Where did that come from? And then the next day went to like 60. I'm like, oh, what's happening? And as of right now, I think it's like 76, and I think that's where it's been for the past like a couple days, or like I don't know, like a 4ish days. I don't know when that happened. I don't super know when that happened when I was recording. So yeah, but it was going on for I let it go for a while before I decided to make this one. In the meantime, I took the time to rewatch season 2 of Korra because uh you know things can be a little different when you watch things the second time. For example, I've seen some new information by watching this show the second season 2 over after watching the first time. I didn't do that with season 1. I feel like I really had to. And I feel like there's a much not that I feel like there was much reason to, but season 1 was pretty poignant. Like it sticks in your head pretty well. So I didn't see a reason to for season 1. But season 2, I figured that I might want to do that because there's a lot more going on in season 2. It had a lot more like distinct thoughts about season 2 after I first watched it, but I wanted to watch it over again just to make sure I had all my ducks in a row. And I'm glad I did because man, I have some thoughts. But before we do all that, we do have to get down to some housekeeping. For example, there were a lot of different topics that I wanted to talk about that I got like a list of. So you guys have ideas what you could be looking forward to. I guess later this year, or I guess throughout the year. Like right now, it's like April, and I think they made the video like at the very end of March. So hopefully, I can keep my consistency up with this, and so things keep going the way they have been going. So I can keep making these because these are very fun to do. But I've planned like what, like 10 at least, like at least 10. Like some of these you can like blend them together, but like I say like at least 10, like at least 10 different things. But like yeah, like I want to do for those who are wondering in my Discord, which some people were not wondering. It was probably very obvious, but I'm gonna say it anyways, as if you were wondering, just to make it feel a bit more special. For those who are probably wondering about how not how, but what the rose icon was for that special video I was talking about is Ruby. I was rewatching Ruby. Oh, not rewatching Ruby. I was watching Ruby, my friend Shani, and man, it is. I like Ruby. Is where we're gonna keep it at. We're gonna keep it at as I like Ruby, just for that, tidbit. But yeah, that's the one I recorded before this one with Shani. We did season 1. We are. I'm gonna have that posted after this one. At least that's the idea. And then once we're done with that, we'll probably go back to Korra or maybe do something else. I'm not sure just yet, but we shall see. Uh, but yeah, after that, I have other ideas for like talk about Dragon Ball Super, also with Shani, because I was watching that with her, and I also had another just I won't say a fun realization. I had the realization it was something for me for watching Dragon Ball Super. You might haven't you may have already an idea from how I've spoken about Dragon Ball Super in the past, specifically the last video. So you may have already have a bit of an idea, but nonetheless, Dragon Ball Super is on the list for things I want to get my opinion about. The Star Wars prequels and sequels, and the original. It's all the Star Wars movies specifically. So I want to give my thoughts on. So there's those, and then we have the Spider-Man movies, the Sam Raimi trilogy, and then the uh, Andrew Garfield movies, and then also most likely, what's it called? Most likely the Tom Holland ones as well. Once I've watched all those again, me and my friend Dan have watched all the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, so we might, what's it called? We might, well, not might. We're going to watch the Spider-Man, the Tom Holland ones, and we've also been watching this MCU in general. So that might be one as well, where we just talk about the MCU. I don't know. I have to see if he'd be down for that. I haven't asked him, but we shall see. Next one is, I said Star Wars. Oh yeah, FNAF video. Just talking about how I felt about FNAF as a series, just all together. I've spoken about it, about making a video about FNAF with my friend Ghost, Kid Ghost, who I've also mentioned last time. But for that, I gotta also get his opinion on that. It was going to be like a whole. I want to say it was like a scripted video, but we never got around to it because things, everything just being different between us. So that was never really a thing we were able to do or able to get sorted. But now, uh, things. I'm not saying things being at a bit more stable, but with I have a bit more of an idea of how I want to do these. We can see if we can get that going. But yeah, next would just be the Minecraft movie. We do plan on seeing that in like I don't know, like in a week maybe. I'm not super sure. We do plan on seeing the Minecraft movie in a bit, like in the next 2 weeks. So whenever that video becomes a thing, we'll see. But I'll have to ask us about that. I do want to make, however, a tier list for Epic the Musical. I'm not someone who analyzes music very well. I'm not like in that field, but I do want to rate the songs with how I feel about them, just in general, because I do like Epic the Musical quite a bit. It's very fun. But yeah, some of the songs I like some more than others, and we'll keep it at that. And at the end, I'll give like a little like thing about the songs in the sagas as well, because I did do that as well. But I do want to re-listen to the whole thing and get my opinions on. Because I made my own tier list actually like a few months ago, and I never really posted it anywhere. I mean, like I put it, it's in like some friends' discords, but that was about it. It wasn't like a thing I posted much of anywhere. So I just wanted to see how that. I want to put that out there as well, specifically because I thought it would be interesting to have up as a video topic. Where else? I think that's it. Oh yeah, also I'd have the. Oh right, I wanted to talk about my D&D campaigns. I said on stream at one point I wanted to talk about those, but I hadn't just yet, and I don't know. And I'm gonna do it like on stream, so instead I plan on just like doing it here. So like the original idea was so we record all our sessions, and I was planning on using the recordings, but uh most of the party wasn't very comfortable with that. So I was like, okay, well, I still want to talk about it, and they don't have an idea with me talking. Have a problem with me talking about it, but they don't want me using the recordings. So I plan on just talking about it instead. And I was going to write a whole script for it, and like the script got so long, and I was like, "Ugh, I don't want to do that." So I had to figure out something else. But this new video format gives me a bit of an outlet for that. And I think that's it. Well, is it all the other things? The last thing I wanted to talk about was the possibility of having like open discussion streams. So like doing just this, but like having like picking a topic and talking about it, and then people can like go in the chat and talk and whatnot, and we can discuss things because just yapping and talking about things is really fun, and I do like talking and debating about stuff. So that is something I have been interested in and have been wanting to do. So we shall see how that goes. And whenever those comes out, those aren't coming out in any particular order. Like the only real order I can guarantee is like the this core one coming out, and then the Ruby one coming after that, and then whatever else. That's the only guarantee I can really give you. Anything else, it comes out in any order, and he's gonna this. It is what it is, you know. It's kind of like my mental list of media where I was like, yep, I have a list of things I'm gonna watch. Uh, it's on the list. They're in no particular order. Like Kung Fu Panda 4, that was on my list. I just watched it this morning. Quick thing, it's not bad. I didn't expect it to be bad. The movie looks good. Like it looks really good. Really nice visuals. But like that's about it. It's just it's a movie you can put on for the family. That's about it. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah. But yeah, I think that's everything. So now we can talk about Legend of Korra finally. Season 1 recap. I think I've already really went through season 1 thoroughly, though the format here will be a little different. We won't really talk about the world building this time. Since last time, that was one thing we did end up speaking about, just like the world building. But it won't be won't be very important this time around. Well, because we already know what the world is. We've been in this world already, so we can just get straight into it. So, Legend of Korra season 2. Man, where do I begin with season 2? Well, let's recap season 1. So, season 1, we met Korra, we met Mako, Bolin, Asami, Tenzin, Tenzin's kids, Pema, Lin Beifong, son of Toph Beifong, and I think that was it. The Republic City had a council. The council isn't a thing anymore, so now we just have the president. That's a thing now. But yeah, that's all we had season 1. Just Korra's the new avatar who seems really wanting to be the avatar. She's really excited about the whole gig. Had to fight Amon, who was a part of the Equalists, or was a leader of the Equalists, who wanted to make it equal between benders and non-benders. But then, hey, guess what? He was actually a bender, and he didn't care about equality at all. He just wanted to, I don't know, be petty. Kind of what it was. And then we also had his brother Tarlock, who just, like, yes, Avatar, I am, and he starts taking things over to try and combat Amon, and then he finds out that Amon's his brother, and he's like, oh my god, and Amon can take people's bending away, and Korra beats him after getting her airbending because she was struggling all season with airbending, and she's like, yes, and then Avatar Aang from the gives her the Avatar state and energy bending, and it's like, all right, cool, there you go, sick. It's like, oh, okay, neat, I guess. And now we're in season 2, where, man, season 1 had an ending, but it wasn't bad. I didn't dislike season 1 or anything. Season 1 was fine. Like I think I get like 7 out of 10 last time. Season 1 was pretty good. Just had some weird quirks to it. But now we're in season 2, and in season 2, we got some stuff going on. So this time around, we're just talking about the straight story. Just go how the overview of the story, and I'll give my opinions on story beats as we go across them. But I won't try to get too deep into characters till after we're done. Excuse me. So, season 1 starts with season 1. Season 2 starts with us seeing Korra where she is now, her new like status quo, where she has the avatar state and she's using it to win basically like air scooter races. That's exactly where we start. We see like spirits basically are like being unrestful. They're full. They have no rest. They're pretty angry, and they seem to be just like attacking ships. But Korra doesn't have time to deal with that. She's winning air scooter races, and Tenzin's like, "Yo, Korra, what are you doing? Why you Why are you doing this? That's not what the avatar state's for. It's for like, contacting the past avatar lives, and also just, a defense mechanism. Of course, like, shut up, Tenzin, I don't care. I want to win these races. He's like, you need to stop playing and you need to actually like master airbending. She's like, what do you mean I have mastered airbending? And then she's like 5 punches. And I'm like, Korra, that's not mastering airbending. That's just knowing how to fight with airbending. You can do so much with airbending. Why, like, brother, I agree with Tenzin. You should probably learn more about airbending. Because as far as I'm aware, she's only been like this. It's only been like a month or so after Amon. Like, it has been no longer than 6 months. Well, I don't even think it's been 6 months. But I'm just saying, like, it hasn't even been a year. It hasn't even been a year since she's beaten him on. So she's like, oh, yeah, I know everything about airbending. And he's like, brother, no, you have not. What are you talking about? And then so he's like, to remedy this, I'm going to take you on a journey to all the air temples, all the old air temples, and we're gonna go there and we're gonna see them. And we're gonna learn about their history. You can learn more about airbending. And she's like, great. This sounds terrible. And he's like, okay. Oh yeah, I forgot. Also, Aang's oldest son, Boomy, has decided to join us at the end of season 1 as well. I forgot to mention that because it wasn't super important, but he's here now. And he's like, hey, what's going on? It's me, Boomy. I am going to be the comic relief character. And we're like, okay, Boomy. And like, because the like, I could have assumed he would have been the comic relief characters because they named him Boomy. Like, Aang would have wanted to honor his friend. That's cool and everything. But I'm like, the fact that like, yep, he named his son, his first son, Boomy. I'm like, okay, all right. Like, of course he's the comic relief character. You guys saw how Boomy was in the first show. My goodness, man was a riot. But yes, they're all like, yep, we're gonna go to the Air Temple Islands, but first we have to go to the South Pole and visit the Southern Water Tribe because there's a spirits festival we have to go to. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. So Korra's like, yeah, I want to go there. And Boomy and Tenzin had this thing where he's like, aha, I'm going to, like, you can't keep me from coming because Mom already invited me. He's like, oh my god. So we see what Korra's up to. We see what Mako's up to, who is just a cop. Mako's a cop now, which, I mean, I can't say that's really in character or not because Mako didn't really have a character. Like, he was grumpy and he was Bolin's brother. That was it. And now he's a cop. Cool. So that's basically all it is. He's a cop now. But he's also Korra's boyfriend. There's that too. But like, whatever. So we see them. Bolin. I don't even think we see what Bolin's doing. I think he's just like, no, we do see what Bolin's doing. He's still doing pro bending, but the Korra and Mako quit the fire ferrets because Mako's a cop now, and Korra's busy being the Avatar or busy winning air scooter races, so she can't do this with Bolin. So yeah, so Bolin's just kind of vibing on his own. Kind of sad. His friends just ditched him. I'd be kind of upset too, Bolin. So yeah, the fire ferrets kind of suck now. Like, they weren't great to begin with, but now they really suck because you don't have Mako or Korra who are like straight up prodigies. So yeah, and we see Asami who is trying to pull Future Industries out of the mud by her bootstraps, because her father, being associated with a coup that took over Republic City, uh, no one wants to trade with them at all. So she's like, okay, we got these new planes, but no one wants to buy them. I have an idea, and so she's going to the South Pole with everybody to go talk with this business, this buyer she's got going on to buy these planes to pull Future Industries out of the trash because like no one wants to deal with them at the moment, rightly so, honestly. But yeah, that's what everyone's doing, and honestly, everyone seems to be in like a decent place outside of Bolin. He still likes pro bending, but he just misses his friends as well. So after we see that, everyone goes to the Spirits Festival, and we get to see how Korra and Mako's relationship has been going. And I want you to take a guess. You have 5 seconds to guess. You can pause the video to get more time to think how their relationship is going. Okay, so if your answer was not good, then you would be correct. So Korra is like butthurt because Tenzin wants her to go and train with the elements more, specifically airbending. And she's talked to Mako about it on their way to the festival, and he's like, "Well, I think Tenshin's just trying to, help you be the best avatar you can be." And Korra blows up at him for this. She's like, "Meh, meh, 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 meh." She's like, "Whose side are you on?" And I'm just like, "Korra, what are you on about? What? What? Huh? He okay." So that's all I'll say for now. But Korra blows up at him, and Mako's like, "Why?" He's like, "Why can I not get through a single conversation with my girlfriend?" And I'm like, oh, so this has been going on for a while. Okay, so this is how their relationship seems to have been going for the not foreseeable future, but for like the past who knows how long they've been dating, like the past like few months, the past month or so. This seems like how the relationship's been progressing. Mako and Mako and Korra can't super get through like a single conversation without like someone getting mad at one another. So that's fun. So outside of that, they get to the festival, and we meet Korra's dad, Tanrock, who's a Southern Water Tribe chief, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And they're like, "Hey, what's going on?" And then we meet, what's it called? We meet Korra's uncle, Unalak, who is the Northern Water Tribe chief, who's also here for the Spirits Festival. And he's like, "Oh yes, the Spirits Festival. It's gonna be a great time. Though I'm a little upset that spirit like this it's less like how it's supposed to be like spiritual and it's more just like a carnival." And you're like, don't worry about it, Unalak, you'll be fine. And so you do that. uh but yeah, after that we get to see Asami and Bolin talk to the buyer she wants. She pulls Bolin. She's like, "Hey, I need someone to help me out with this. I need someone just to be my bodyguard." And he's like, "Okay, cool." So Bolin walks in with her, and they meet this new character who will be with us for a while. His name is Barrick, and he's like, "Oh yes, I'm levitating," when he's not actually levitating. And everyone's like, "Oh my god!" And then Bolin's like, "But you weren't." And he's like, "Are you saying I'm a liar?" And he's like, And I was like, "Well, why no one tell me I wasn't levitating? Now I look stupid." And then he just fires one guy, and he just fires him for not saying anything. And then he's like, "Ah, Sami, you're here. This you see, you brought your big man to do business. Smart." And then just like, "All right, let's talk business." And so he's like, "All right, look me in my eyes." And she's like, what?" And then he stares her in her face, and she stares him back in his face. And he's like, "We have a deal." And I'm like, okay, this guy is interesting, but like that made no sense. I don't dislike him, but man, that just don't make no sense. Uh, Sick. So that's Varric. That's all you really need to know about Varric. He also has a assistant named Julie, and he tells her to do things by saying "do the thing." But Varric also is very interested in making movies, or as they call them, movers. So that's a thing that's been happening. So that'll be a thing that comes up later. But yeah, movers. That is it's a plot point. I won't call it an important plot point, but it's a plot point. Surprisingly enough. But yeah. So at the Spirits Festival, everyone's hanging out. Oh yeah. Also, Bolin sees Korra's cousins, Eska and Desna, and he's like, "Ooh, Eska looks cute." And Korra's like, "I wouldn't do that if I were you, but sure, go ahead." And so Bolin's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna talk to her." She's like, "Okay, and you do you, Bolin, sure." So Bolin is like into Eska, and that's all we really give Bolin. So we go to Spirits Festival. They go and talk, and do carnival things. And at the Spirits Festival, like during their banquet, Unalak's like, "Oh yes, man, I'm not a huge fan of how the Spirits Festival's been turning out because it's basically a carnival and it pays no honor to the spirits, and this is it kind of sucks, kind of mid actually. And then that's it, and everyone's like, oh wow, okay. And so basically, during the spirits, also while they're walking around during the Spirits Festival, uh, they talk with Unalaq, and basically he's like been like the Northern Water Tribe has been a lot more spiritual, and after a 100-year war, apparently they helped the Southern Water Tribe get back on their feet, but they only see like they only helped you physically, not spiritually, and you guys need to get back on that spiritual path. And they're like, cool, we don't really want to do that. Where we're chilling. He's like, well, yeah, but I don't know why you won't want to do that because that's why the spirits are attacking you guys. And Korra's like, what do you mean the spirits are attacking them? He's like, yeah, did he not tell you? And apparently, no. No one's told Korra that spirits are attacking the Southern Water Tribe. So she's like, what? And her dad's like, yeah, we didn't want to tell you because you are focused on other stuff. She's like, this is my job. I should know these things. What are you talking about? And he's like, nah, don't worry about it. So Korra's kind of mad at her dad and Tenzin because he also knew about this and just didn't tell her. So he's like, okay. And so she's like, all right, well, I want to learn about the spirits. And Tenzin's like, no, we have this thing to do. And Unalaq's like, yeah, well, the Avatar can learn from me. She's like, can I say something? Like, I'm right here. I'm the Avatar. He's talking to me. And you're like, Korra, you don't gotta worry about this guy. He's like, nah, 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 nah. He's kind of spitting. Because like the spirits are like a thing that we got to deal with in our problem right now. I kind of want to deal with this. And he's like, yes, you probably should because spiritual roots to your ancestors has been lost and da 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 da. And she's like, yeah, that. So I was like, all right, well, or you do what you want. She's like, cool, I will. So they have that going on. Mako is just here. Like, I wish I had more to say about Mako's part in all this, but he is just here. His role in season, like, for most of season two, or at least for a good amount of season two, is just a boyfriend. No, honestly, that's his role for like all of season two. It's just arm candy. That is his role. He is just arm candy. So I wish it wasn't, but that's all it is. You don't do anything with Bolin. Not Bolin, Mako. Mako doesn't have anything to do. And I wish it was a bit better for Bolin, but it really isn't. Uh, but yeah, Mako is just arm candy. That's all he is right now for like this season, which is a little depressing. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that's all he's doing at the moment. So Korra's like complaining to him about how they won't let her do spiritual training with Unalaq, and he's like, anyways, she's like, can I get your opinion? He's like, well, I support whatever decision you make. And she's like, cool, thanks. He's like, what, you do you want me to give my opinion or do you want me to support your decisions? He's like, please, just like, he's so confused. And Mako doesn't really deserve this, honestly. At least as of right now. I don't think he deserved it. I don't think he did anything in season one to say he deserves this kind of treatment. But yeah, after that, we just kind of look at that's just kind of what they are kind of going over. But apparently, there's a storm that goes over, like a giant blizzard that goes over, near the southern South Pole, called the Everstorm, and apparently, that's like a product of spirits being unhappy, and the Northern Lights, the project is the product of spirits being happy with the people living there. So that's why the Northern Lights exist in Avatar canon, and the Everstorm is why, what's it called? The why spirits are pissed. So we get like a canonical reason for Northern Lights, and it seems like the spirits can just kind of control the weather in Avatar, which isn't super like that's something we haven't seen before. I don't think, but they can like influence the natural world, which is weird, but we'll get into why that's weird later. Uh, but yeah, they're like, yeah, I want to. Korra's like, I want to do this. And she's like, they're like, no, Korra, don't worry about it. And she's like, oh my god. She's like, let me do this thing. And they're like, nah, Korra, don't do this thing. It's fine. And so afterwards, they're like, yeah, don't do this thing. So they all go to bed. And so after Korra and them go to bed, they get attacked by a dark spirit. And so what dark spirits are seem to be just spirits that are dark. No, but dark spirits are, as I think Unalak said, is like there is no like dark spirits. They're just spirits that are just you know discontent. Like spirits have dark and light in them, but as of right now, these spirits are angry, so they or have a more of a darker appearance. I'm not sure who says it, but that's basically what's going on. So everyone's like, ah, dark spirits. And so Korra gets absolutely demolished by a dark spirit. And so they're like, oh my god, Korra. And then Unalaq comes and saves the day. And then she's like, yeah, okay, so I don't care what you guys are saying. I want to get Unalaq as my teacher, and I want to help bring more balance to the spirits. Because, like, this is getting ridiculous. And like Tenzin showed up, Mako showed up, Bolin showed up, Tonrock showed up. They all tried to fight the Dark Spirit. Everyone got clowned on. And then once Unalaq showed up, he was like, "Yep, I know this thing, and I'm going to save Korra." And then he does. And they're like, she's like, "Yeah, okay. You guys can't do a single thing. I need help." And I wanted my teacher. So she fires Tenzin. So she's like, "Tenzin, I no longer want you to be my teacher. I want Unalaq to be my teacher. Go away." And he's like, okay. I'm just like, wow, Korra, that's kind of cold. And she's like, hey, Mako, did I do the right thing? He's like, you know, Mako's like, I think you were doing your best. And she takes that answer for now. And I'm like, okay. Like, Mako didn't do anything. Just let him live, please. Brother is trying. But yeah, and I think that was all like in episode one, which is crazy now I'm thinking about it. But anyways, yeah. So Korra takes Unalaq as her teacher, and she's like, "Yep, I'm going to go and restore balance to the spirit." And so they're like, "Okay, so we gotta go to the South Pole and open the spirit portal." And it's like, "Oh, what's spirit portal?" It's like it's a realm, it's a portal to the spirit world that lets you. There's one at the northern pole and one at the southern pole. And once we do that, help bring balance to the South Pole and help them back on their spiritual path. And it's like, okay, cool. So they gear up to go do that, and Tom Rock wants to come because he's worried for Korra's safety. And Korra's like, Dad, I'm the Avatar. I will be fine. And he's like, I want to go because the Everstorm's coming. And she's like, okay, fine. But yeah, Bolin gets hooked up with some Varric merchant swag. So he has like this like snowsuit. Uh, he got in with Eska, and she brings Desna everywhere. So Bolin's rolling with Eska and Desna, Mako's rolling with Korra, and then Tonrock and Unalaq are going like chilling as well. And Unalaq was like, "Nah, you." He's like, "I don't want you coming with us because you're going to distract Korra." He's like, "Do you think you can stop me?" And I was like, "Brother," and like Korra's dad, Tonrock, is like, he's built. My man is built like an entire just like he's built like a whole stone brick oven. Like he's built like a freaking brick oven, dude. So I don't see anyone stopping him from doing anything. But yeah, he's like, "Do you really think you can stop me?" He's like, "All right, fine, you can go." So Tom Rock comes along, joins the party. So by that point, we get to go and see how things are looking out by the South Pole Spirit Portal, which is not great. Like the Everstorm looks pretty bad, and everything's like the storm is raging and all stuff like that. They run into more dark spirits, and you're like, "Yo, why are they bothering us?" And Unalaq's like, "They're bothering us because your father." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Yeah, let's hold up for now. Let's get some shelter. It's not even. We don't need to talk about this right now." And he's like, "No, no, no." So they go. So they go and take shelter, and he's like, "Ah, yes, yes, Tonrock, tell your daughter why the spirits hate you." And she's like, What are you talking about?" He's like, uh, spirits hate me. I was banished from the Northern Water Tribe because he was born in the Northern Water Tribe and came down to the South because he was banished. And he was banished because raiders had attacked their home. He chased them down with his squad of guys because he was like, charged with protecting the town. He chased them down with his squad of men, and because he chased them down into a spirit forest, they destroyed the forest, capturing the guys, and the spirits came and destroyed their home in retaliation. And Unalak was the only person who knew any like spiritual knowledge to calm them down and send them back. So he got banished for it. And she's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And he's like, "Yeah." Like, he's like, He's like, "I didn't want to tell you." Like, and honestly, I don't see a reason why he should have told her because it's not really important. Like that, like the Stark spirits seem to be attacking everybody. So like the fact that you're just there seems like why they're attacking you. It was like, why didn't you tell me that you got banished? It's none of your business. Like personally, me, I think I was none of your business to know. So he's like, yeah, it is something I should have known. And so she's mad at her dad. He's like, you try to control me and this and that and this. And I was like, okay, calm down, calm down. Oh man, Korra is just like, to be fair, I'm gonna say she's wrong for being upset. She's allowed to be upset about it, but I don't think he needed to tell her any of that because it didn't seem like to me that was the reason why they're like bugging them. But whatever. But she's like, yeah, the what's it called? She ends up getting her dad to leave. She's like, get out of here, dad. I don't want you here. And he's like, all right, fine, whatever. So he leaves, and then he leaves, and then they're like, all right, well, it is time for us to keep going trucking. And so they go up to the spirit portal, and Unalak gives her some encouragement, and she's like, "Oh man, I never had anyone believe in me before." And I'm just like, "Okay, Korra, that's not true. Like Korra, that's not true. Mako, Bolin, and Asami all believe in you. Your friends believe in you. That's not true." What I think they were trying to convey there was that like an authority figure hasn't really believed in her because oh yeah, one thing I also forgot that the reason that she was locked up in the South Pole for so long to do her Avatar training instead of going on to the Avatar journey was because of Tanrock and Tenzin. Apparently, it wasn't because of the White Lotus or whatever. Tanrock and Tenzin apparently were the ones who told her told them to do this. That's why Korra was stuck in the South Pole. It's like what? So she's also mad at her dad for that. So that's why they that's why she had him leave because she was like, "Oh my goodness, you've been lying to me." Which that one, yeah, I can see why she's upset about that. I'd be upset about that too. To be honest, I'd be kind of mad. But that is the reason for that. But had that go on, so I was like, "Yeah, I'm done with you guys. Don't worry about it." She's like, "All right, time to figure out how to do this thing." Takes her like I don't know, like 5 minutes, and she figures out that she's got to use the Avatar state open the spirit portal, and she does. And like, oh, cool, good job, Korra. Which like she was like, all right, let me punch this thing open. And I'm like, Korra, don't use the avatar stick. Why would you ever think you need to punch the spirit portal? Because it's like under ice, and like she tries to hit with airbending for some reason. I'm like, Korra, what? I think she uses firebending first, but then she tries airbending. I'm like, why would you ever switch to airbending if firebending didn't work? Anything I tried to ice bend it away. But no, she didn't try all that. And like spirits attack her, and then she uses the avatar state and touches it and does that. She opens the spirit portal, and everything's all hunky dory. And then when they get back, uh, the Northern Water Tribe now has troops in their ships all over Southern Water Tribe territory. And she's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, we're bringing in our troops so no one can harm the spirits, and to protect the spirit portal, and we're just helping out." And she's like, "Okay, well, that's neat." So I was like, "Okay." I'm like, "Korra, you clearly don't have the know-how for this, but you can't just occupy a nation because you think you can. You can't occupy a nation and like, oh, we're helping you guys. If they don't want you here, you get out, or you at least talk to the people in charge before you do that." And like, I think the Southern Water Tribe was kind of like, uh, supposedly like a part of the Northern Water Tribe. I say in air quotes because they like help them get back on their feet and use all the resources for that. So it's like, yeah, yes, they're a part of us. But like, other water tribes didn't see it that way, and I wouldn't see it that way either. But it's like, yep, you guys are a part of us. Don't worry about it. You're chill. And they're like, no, we're not chill. Get out. So next episode, people are very upset with this, and understandably so. They're being occupied. So they're like, yeah, no, get out. And they're like, we're not going to get out. We are helping. And it's like, no, I don't want you here. And Korra's on the side of the Northern Water Tribe. She's like, hey guys, they're just here to help. Don't, get mad at them. And they're like, you're supposed to be our avatar. Look, what are you doing? You're supposed to be the avatar. What are you doing? And then Tom walks like, Korra, I need to talk to you. She's like, I don't want to talk to you. And he's like, Korra, please. It's like, talk to Unalaq because nobody likes this at all. And like, it takes her a minute to talk to him, to get a hold of him, but or to listen to her dad. But she's like, all right, fine, I'll go talk to him. And like, the only reason she really goes is because like Varric was holding like a meeting at Tom Rock's house because he was like the chief, and he was like, yeah, we're gonna have to go to civil war because Unalaq's not gonna let this go. And Korra's like, what the? We don't. You want to start a war? He's like, we aren't starting the war. We're telling him to leave, and he's not leaving. So it's like, oh my god, I'll go talk to him. So she goes to talk with him. She's like, hey, uh, uncle, people are upset. You should stop this. And he's like, hey, Korra, I'm just trying to help the spirits, and I'm trying to help spirits. Like, yeah, I know, but they feel like they're being occupied. It's like, well, Korra, this feels like something the Avatar can do. There's something for the Avatar to deal with. I don't think it's something I can really do. You have to do like you gotta persuade them, and let them know that they're not being, they're not being unlawfully occupied, which they absolutely are. And she's like, okay, so she goes and tries to like break up a fight, and then the Southerners get mad at Korra because she's like on their side, and Tom Rock breaks up the fight instead. And then she's like, okay, Unalaq, I gotta talk to you again because this isn't working. And then she finds out that apparently Unalaq was about to be assassinated, which is just like, oh, okay. So yeah, he's about to be assassinated. So I'm like, oh, okay. So Korra beats off the assassins and like saves Unalaq's life. And he's like, oh my god, what happened? She's like, you're about to get assassinated, my guy. He's like, oh, thank you, Avatar Korra. I'll deal with these dissenters. I'll make sure they freeze in prison. She's like, no, don't do that. He's like, what? You want them to go free? He's like, well, no, just give them due process. Because like, you know, the Southern Water Tribe already doesn't like you, so just throwing you guys in jail to freeze for the rest of their lives is it gonna be a good look? He's like, maybe right, Avatar. Yes, yes. So they hold a they're going to hold like a what's the word I'm thinking of? A trial. So they're going to hold a trial for them. So it's like, all right, cool. We're gonna do a trial. And so while they're getting ready to do that, Korra goes to like the entire time she saw the assassin, she thought her dad was one of the assassins, and so she's like trying to reason with her dad, and it turns out like nope, not her dad. And he's like, "Where's my dad?" And he's like, "He didn't come. He's a coward." And she's like, "Oh my goodness, my dad." And then she's like, "Oh my gosh, my dad. I'm so glad he wasn't, trying to murder my uncle." So she goes back home, and her dad and her mom just chilling. They're like, "Cora, are you okay?" And she starts crying. She's like, "Oh, I thought you were there, and I was so scared." And it's like, I'm fine. It's like he's my brother. I'm not gonna try and murder him." And so then Unalaq is like, "Ah, yes, Tonrock, I'm arresting you for conspiracy, because you help these guys." And he's like, "What?" And Cora now has a problem with Unalaq because now personally affects her, and she's like, "Hey, you can't arrest my dad. He wasn't even there. I verified it myself." She was like, yeah, but you told me that there's a meeting at his house for a coup. And what happened? I got assassinated. So he's gotta be involved. And she's like, yeah, we're also trying to get Varric. And then like, they're trying to find Varric, and Asami's trying to finalize this deal with Varric, and then she catches everyone up to speed about what's going on. Also on the side, like Bolin's been like with Eska apparently, but Eska's like, kind of being very abusive. Like, not physically, but like borderline. She's so close to doing it. Like, Bolin has not been into the relationship, but he's like, yeah, he's like, Mako, please. I need help. And he's like, no. He's like, just tell her you're not into her. He's like, yeah, I'm scared to tell her that because she's very scary. He's like, nah, just do it. So like this entire season, so far, anyways, uh, Bolin has been trying to break up with Eska and it just hasn't been going well. So it's just like, uh, and like he's asked his friends for help multiple times and they don't want to help him. Like I'm pretty sure he goes on like a double date with Mako and Korra, and like Desna's also there with Eska, and he's like, ah, isn't this fun? And then they go and leave. He's like, help me, please. And they're like, what do you mean help? Just break up with her. He's like, that's not gonna work. Help. And they're like, no. Same thing with Asabi. He's like, help. She's like, no. I was like, why are you guys just allergic to helping Bolin? I don't get it. So yeah, they don't want to help him like in the absolute slightest, which just makes me so sad for him. Like, brother is he's a ride or die for all of them, and then they're like, yeah, no, we're not gonna help you. Like, it's so rude of all of them. But yeah, that's what he's been doing. And Asami, like, nothing was really going on with her, honestly. Besides her like trying to save future interest. Oh yeah, also like there's like a what's it called? There's like a blockade going on, so she can't even get her deal with Barrack going because this blockade from the north. So she's like, all right, well, we gotta wait for them to move their ships, so we're just kind of chilling. And they didn't move their ships for a while. Well, they didn't move their ships like at all, not until like the end of the season. So she's trying to do other stuff. So Oolong puts all the people on trial, including Korra's dad. He couldn't get Barrack because they couldn't find him. So it was like, man, all right, we have the trial, put him on trial. Everyone gets convicted, guilty, besides Korra's mom. And then they're all gonna get put to death. And then Korra's like, if you kill them, I'm killing you. And I'm like, Korra, that is a threat. You can't just threaten the judge like that. She like quietly threatens the judge in front of everybody. And I'm like, Korra, I get how you feel, but like that is the judge. And then he's like, all right, fine. I'm going to give them life in prison instead. And they're like, huh. Which like, ugh. And Cora's like, all right, fine. And then she goes to talk with her mom, and her mom's upset, and her dad's like, yeah, no, Cora, don't do anything stupid. Just like let this pass. Like I'm gonna end up going to jail for I didn't do anything, but like still, don't do anything crazy. And so she's like, no. And then she goes to do something crazy. And so she finds the judge driving his car home, I guess, and then runs him off the road. They're like on a mountain, right? So they're on a mountain, driving on like a mountain path, and she's very. She decides to run him off the road, and she's like, "Yeah, you're going to let my dad go." And he's like, I'm just doing what Unalaq said." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "He wanted me to make it seem fair. He told me what to say and everything." She's like, "Oh, so that's how it is." So she finds out that Unalaq basically uh, framed her dad. Uh, he framed her dad. He basically got her dad kicked out of their home when they were kids. In the north, got him banished because he hired the barbarians, and he was trying to get Tara out the way, just to keep Korra on his side, and let his mom go. I let her mom go, and she's like, "Oh, okay." So Korra finds this out by being a villain. She goes and threatens this man with Naga. Like she's going like she threatens to like have Naga eat him. I'm like, Korra, this is villain behavior. You can't just be doing this. Like, and she clearly doesn't care. But I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. Like you can't be doing these things. But she keeps doing it anyways. She goes to find her dad to break him out, and he's not there. And she's like, Unalak. And then he's there. He's like, ah. So, Korra, what are you doing? She's like, I'm breaking my father out. You tricked him. You tricked us. You did all this stuff. And he's like, yeah, no, Korra, I'm doing this for the good of the tribe. So, like, you gotta understand. She's like, no, I won't understand. I don't understand. And frick you. So she leaves. And they go with Varric. And then they're like, all right, we gotta get the Naipo for help. So they go back to Republic City and go to try and get the help from the United Republic to get like their military to help the South get free from the North. So like Korra only sees this as a problem when it personally affected her. Amazing. But yeah, everyone goes back to like, yeah, we gotta go. Including Varric. So what the gang decides to do is like, oh, we gotta talk to President Raiko and get this stuff sorted. And so they're talking to President Raiko, and then she's like, "Hey, yeah, I need your help. My home is being like, ransacked by the North." And he's like, "Man, that sucks." Anyways, she's like, "What do you mean, anyways?" He's like, "Anyways." He's like, "Yeah, I can't help you with that. That's not my problem." Uh, Basically, is what he says. Like he's like, we can't really get in the middle of this. It's like we can probably like a peaceful option, but I can't. I'm not sending the military. And she's like, okay, well you're a turd. And so she's like, well, we're gonna do now. And Barrick's like, hey, you don't need his permission. You just need the military. If you go to the troops directly, they will help you. And she's like, well, I do know Commander Iroh, so that could work. And I'm like, Korra, you don't want to do that. That sounds like a bad idea. And so she goes to try and do it anyways. Meanwhile, oh yeah, Eska is pissed at Bolin for leaving. Anyways, Mako is like a cop. And he's just Lynn's like, hey, Mako, get back here. I need you to what's going. He's like a beat cop. He's not like a freaking what's it called, a detective. But she's like, yeah, I need you to oversee this peace march going on by the Southern Water Tribe, and Korra's like, I'm gonna help, and so they do that, and then like the peace, like the what's it called, I think it's like the embassy gets bombed, and they're like, what the heck, and they're like, oh, the Northern Water Tribe, they bombed the summit, and Mako's like, hold on, that might not have been them because while he was there, he saw people like setting up bombs and stuff. He went to chase them, and they were firebenders. So he's like, "Yeah, I don't think it was them. I think it was these. Someone was hired to do this." And you're like, "What are you talking about? Of course it was them. Who else would it be?" He's like, "I just told you who it'd be." And he finds like this detonator, and he's like, "Yeah, it's like this weird. There's like a remote detonating thing." And he tries to bring it to Lynn, and Lynn's like, "Yeah, I don't care. Like I'm talking. I got my own leads to follow." And she's like, "Well, I think this could be something." And she's like, shut up. Give it to the detectives if you think it's important." And so he gives it to the detectives, and they're like, anyways. They're like, anyways. So that's all that really amounts to, or at least during that moment. So uh President Raiko's there trying to get Lynn to, find who bombed the place, and she's like, yeah, I'm trying. He's like, hurry up before I fire you. And then Mako's like annoyed. Oh yeah, Bolin, he's with Varric, ends up becoming a mover star. So basically, Varric's whole angle at the moment is to make war propaganda films that are very like, I'd say fairly culturally and racially insensitive, but we're not gonna worry about that. But he's trying to do like war propaganda to basically pressure the president into sending the military. And Bolin is a star in these things. He's called Nuktuk, hero of the South. So he's an earthbender playing a waterbender. So that was a little entertaining. And Bolin kind of lets the fame go to his head a little bit. And he has a side plot with this character, this side character named Ginger. And he's trying to like date her, and she's not interested. And he's like, But you love, but like when they're like, he's like, she's cast as Nuktuk's girlfriend. He's trying to date her for real. She's like, no. He's like, oh, and he's trying to get Ginger like the entire time. But the whole group talks about or they pass along, uh, Berlin passed along the idea of Korra going to going circumventing the president and going straight to the military about their whole thing. And he's like, oh, hmm. So yeah, Berlin hears about it. He ends up talking about it to Mako, and then so when the president is at the police station, he's like, "Hey Mako, I know you're friends with the Avatar. Is there anything I should know about that's going on?" He's like, So he tells the president about what they're planning. And so when Korra's talking to Commander Iroh about it, the president walks in. He's like, "Yeah, if I see a single ship leave, you're getting court-martialed." And he's like, "Oh, well, I've done what I can do." And then she's like, "Man, it's like he knew. How did that happen?" And she's like, "No one even knew. Like, no, we didn't even tell anybody. It's like he knew. Like we got a rat." And it's like, "How do we have a rat?" The only person who knew was like Asami, me, Bolin. And Bolin's like, "Oh yeah, Mako also knew." And she's like, "No." He's like, "You don't think Mako snitched?" And she walks into the police station yelling at Mako for snitching, which he did actually do. He did snitch. I'm like, all right, well, Mako, come on, man. Which, to be entirely fair, may have been the call. Mako snitching may have been the call. I say this because Korra was quite literally going to throw the entirety of the United Republic into a war that they may not have been prepared to fight. She was probably going to start World War I. Honestly, that's probably what's going to happen. Like if the United Republic got into a fight with the Northern Water Tribe, every other place would have had to pick a side, and they probably would have thrown him into World War I. So honestly, I think Mako probably dodged a bullet with that, or helped the world dodge a bullet. So she gets mad at him, and then Mako breaks up with her because their relationship has been very strenuous recently. Especially when she's trying to get, she's like, "I'm trying to help the South. What are you doing, Mako?" He's like, "I'm doing my job. What do you mean?" They had like a fight before she found out he snitched. So like, she comes and blows up on him, and he's like, "All right, get out. All right, we're done." And then Korra leaves all sad, and then Iroh's like, "Hey, Fire Lord Zuko might help," and he's been friends with the Avatar. So she's like, "All right, I'm gonna go ask him instead then." So then she goes to ask Zuko, and on her way there, Eska and Desna are like racing across the ocean because they got orders from Unalaq to capture her to bring her back so she can what's it called, open the northern spirit portal, I think. Even though I thought it was already open, but I must remember wrong. But yeah, I think it's to open the spirit portal. And she was like earlier, she was like, "You need me." He's like, "No, I don't." And then like they're like, "I thought you didn't need her." She's like, "No, I do. I was bluffing." He tried to open it himself, and he's like, "Nah, I can't do it. I do need the avatar. Go get the avatar." And when they're trying to open it, he like literally leaves one of like Eska and Desna are trying to help him open the portal. Desna can't help because they get shocked by some feedback, and then he's like, "Leave him. We gotta open the portal." And she's like, "Yeah, no." So I was like, "Oh, great. Nice to see how Unalaq feels about his children." But yeah, uh, from there, Korra fights Eska and Desna, but then a dark spirit comes between them and then knocks out Korra, and then she's like gone for like an entire episode. But from there, Mako and uh, Asami are trying to investigate what's been going on with this like these bombers. Well, Asami's trying to do business with Varric, but Varric's ships keep getting like raided, and so like Asami's not getting any profits from it, neither is Varric. So their ships keep getting raided, they keep getting robbed. And so like, what's going on? And because they go into a police station about it, Mako thinks there's a connection because he's like, hey, these guys have like there's explosions. Like they have like detonators like these, and he's like, I don't know, it's too dark. And so he wants to go with Asami to do a sting to figure out what's going on. But he's doing it behind Lynn's back because she doesn't want to give him any of this because he's a beat cop. He's not a detective, and she needs him working the streets. So she's like, yeah, Mako chop. So he goes behind Lynn's back to do it, but he needs like some more manpower. So he goes to the triple threat triads. Yeah, the triple threat triads. He goes to them because he used to work with them. He's like, hey, I need your help for this sting. He pays them and they go and do this thing. And so while they're out there just waiting and waiting and waiting, nothing's really happening. So they're like, he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna go take a loop around the ship. And so while they're walking around the ship, he hears that they're just being distracted by the triple threats. They've been paid to keep them out here for a few hours, and they've already been out there for a few hours. So it's like, oh, great, Asami got to get off this boat, and like they find out that Mako heard them immediately, like it's instantaneous. So they're just like, all right, well, we gotta go, and so they skididdly daddle, and they get back to Asami's warehouse where like it was like her last shipment of stuff, and it's all been stolen. And so she's like, great, I have nothing, I am ruined. And Mako's like, I'm gonna figure this out. And then Asami kisses Mako. And then she's like, okay. Uh it's like, I don't know what to do with that. So I'm gonna leave. And this is like not even like a week Korra's been gone. She's gone for like not even like a week, I think. So they're like, okay, well, whatever, right? So Korra's gone and they're dealing with this. Uh Mako runs into Bolin to try and get his help for stuff. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. And so Mako sees these detonators, so he goes to the movie set and he's like, He sees like the explosions that they were doing for the Nuktuk set. And he's like, huh. He goes to the explosions guy. He's like, hey, how do you guys do those explosions? He's like, oh, cool, right? We got these remote detonators. And they're the same ones he picked up that one guy. He's like, these are Varric's detonators. Huh. And then he goes to Asami. He's like, hey, Asami, I think I know who is doing this. And then Asami is signing over future industry assets to Varric because she's being bought out because she is, ruined essentially. And so she's like, oh, you figured it out? He's like, yeah, I'm real close to doing it too. And then he leaves. And Varric turns around with like the smuggest grin I've ever seen a character wear. It's like, this absolute clown. So Varric is so brother's over here like trying to war profiteer while also like doing propaganda. So I was like, all right, well, this got a lot more interesting. And then we don't see anything else for that because then we go to lore episode, basically. So we find Korra, who is on Ember Island, and she's just like passed out, and she's like, Rava, Rava, and you're like, okay, what is she talking about? Who's Rava? And they're like, don't worry about it. And so we get a flashback between not between Korra, but we get a flashback for like the first Avatar, and Korra has like a dark spirit in her, and so she needs to go and connect with her Avatar spirit to get it out. So she gets a flashback for the first Avatar, and when she does, essentially she's like, all right, cool. The first Avatar is Avatar 1, and we can see how the first Avatar was created. So, spirits and humans used to live in the same world, but apparently spirits basically were like living in most of the natural like material world, and humans lived on the backs of lion turtles for shelter. And whenever they went out, the lion turtles would give them the elements, the elemental abilities to like protect themselves and then come back. So it's like, oh, neat. So Juan, he goes out, uh basically their lion turtle city is being run by corrupt leaders. And so what he does is he pretends to go out to go and fight, to like hunt for their village, and the lion turtle gives him the power of fire, and he comes back but doesn't return it, and then he uses that power of fire to try and like steal from these corrupt leaders, but they end up catching him, and then they throw him out and they kick him out the city. The lion turtle lets him keep the ability to bend fire, but now he's just kind of out there by himself with the spirits. So he's just running around trying to like not die, and then eventually, he earns the trust of the spirits by saving one of the animals. Because like yeah, humans usually don't have like respect for nature. This one, oh wow, such a wild concept. So we let him stay out there, and he keeps bending fire, and he gets better than anybody else. So he like even develops like the first forms of fire bending. So he uses it to like stay alive. So he lives out there for a while, and then he's like, all right, I'm gonna go find the other lion turtle cities because apparently there's more cities that he didn't know about. He thought they lived in the only city, and so he's like, oh, neat. Yeah, I'm gonna go and find the other cities. So he goes to do that, and after a while, he comes across two spirits fighting, like giant spirits. And then one's like, "Help me! She's tormented me for 10,000 years." And he's like, 10,000 years? Oh no, that's bad. And so he fights him, and he stops her from doing the thing. And then she gets hurt. He's like, "Oh, thank you, human. You have done a great service." And then she's like, "Do you know what you just did?" He's like, "Yeah, I saved him from being tormented by you." She's like, "No, that was Vatu. He's the spirit of death and destruction. I'm Rava, the spirit of peace and light. I was keeping him held back so he didn't destroy the world and cover it in darkness, you idiot." She's like, now that we've been broken, like he's going to start, destroying the planet. Oh, like, well, that's my B. He's like, "Can I help? Stop him?" And she's like, "No, go away." And then she leaves. And he's like, "Okay, well, sucks to suck, I guess." So he goes to the lion turtle with the air people, with the old air nomads. He goes there, and then dark spirits show up, and he helps fight them off. And Rava shows up. They're like, "Oh, Rava, what happened to your other half? Where's Vatu?" He's like, "Ask him." He's like, "Okay, so I got tricked." And he's like, "Hey, air lion turtle, can you give me the ability to bend air so I can stop Vatu? Like, I want to go and like get the four elements and stop Batu." And they're like, uh, sure, but you can't hold them all at the same time. Like Rava would have to hold on to the fire for you while you did it. And he's like, why would I ever do that? He's like, Rava, we're not gonna be able to win by ourselves, please. She's like, okay, fine. So she takes on the power of she holds on to air while he uses fire, and holds on to fire when he uses air. And she passes through him to do this. And he's like, "Oh man, I got like a rush of power every time you pass through me." And he's like, "Oh, air's so different." So they spend time learning the different elements, and eventually, his friends who used to live with him in the old Fire Lion Turtle City, they left. They all took fire, and they went to go like make their own village. And he ends up coming across them, and he's like, "Oh my god, you guys!" And as he comes up to like this reunion, his old spirit friends came up, like, "Oh my god, Juan, what's going on, buddy?" And he's like, "Oh my god, what's going on?" And then they start fighting because the humans don't like the spirits because they just hate all spirits. And he's like, "No, wait, no, they're chill out, spirits are chill." They're like, "Nah, all spirits gotta go." And so they just start fighting, and he tries to stop them. And he's like, "Rava," like, oh yeah, he got like all the freaking elements by this point. He's like, "Rava, uh, give me all the elements at once. And she's like, I can't even do this for too long. He's like, just do it. And he gets all the elements and he scares them off, or at least for a little bit, anyways, because they start fighting because his spear friends turn to dark spirits because of Vatu. And he's like, ah, and then freaking he can't hold it for too long, so he ends up like passing out and almost dying, and Rava has to stop. And then all his human friends die. And he's like, oh no. And then Rava's been like the entire time she's been shrinking because there's been more dark than light because of Vatu. So she can't even like do much else. She can just kind of pass some elements and that's about it. So it's like, oh man, I feel so bad for you. And so by this point, it's just like, man, we are so cooked. So harmonic convergence is coming around, which is basically just it's like this event that happens every 10,000 years for when Rava and Vatu need to fight for control of the planet. If there's going to be 10,000 years of peace or 10,000 years of darkness and death and destruction. Uh, so she's like, all right, we got to get there. So they go to harmonic convergence, and Vatu's like, ah, Rava, you're looking like trash. You ready to scrap? And she's like, no. He's like carrying her in a teapot, and she's like, "Brother, I am tiny." He's like, "That's too bad." And so Juan's like, "If you want to fight her, you gotta get to me." He's like, "All right, score up." And so Juan starts fighting Vatu and starts losing. And he's like, "Rava, the only way we can win is together." And then they fuse, and she's like, "Oh!" And starts like actually start whooping Vatu a little bit. And she's like, Juan, we can't keep this up. You're going to die. I need to leave. And he's like, if you don't stay, I'm gonna die anyways. So they keep fighting, and then Rava and Juan, they end up touching like there's like these light beams from the north and south portals that are open. And so they touch the beams converge during harmonic convergence. Crazy, right? And when they touch the beams, they fuse together, and she's like, "We are one." And so she gives him all the elements by fusing with him with the beam, and then he starts bending all elements with like maximum efficiency, basically in the proto version of the Avatar state. And he locks away Vatu in this tree in the middle of the spear world. So in this tree, it's like the tree of time. So he locks him in there. He's like, "Yep, you're getting locked in there." And so Juan, to prevent harmonic convergence from happening ever again, he goes and closes the northern portal, and then goes out and closes the southern portal. So locks Vatu in there, so he can't get out. So he's stuck in the tree of time, and he's stuck in the spirit world. So now he can't get out. And he's like, "Yep." And before he does this, he sends all the spirits back to the spirit world. So he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to like help humanity learn how to respect spirits, so one day the spirits can come back and live with us in peace." And so Juan ends up dying in like in a fight, like in a war, because humans can't even get along with humans. And then he's like, "Oh, I failed, Rava. I couldn't get the balance." And she's like, "It's fine. I will be with you through all your lives." So that's how the first Avatar was born, and he passed down all the things. So like, I guess because of that, it proves that like an Avatar reincarnation is just a thing for everybody, but only the Avatar can remember their past lives and speak with them. So everyone gets reincarnated, I guess, in a way. I don't know. They didn't specify any specifics behind that, but that's what it seems like. But Korra wakes up and gets her memory back, and she's like, "Yeah, all right." Udalak wants to open the other portal because he wants to free Vatu. I can't let him do that. So she goes back to Republic City and lets everyone know. She's like, "Yeah, we gotta go back. We gotta go stop Vatu. We gotta stop what's his face." Uh, and when she goes back, she finds out that apparently Varric was so basically Mako's trying to figure out well how to figure out how to expose Varric. This doesn't go that well, and then he ends up getting framed for like the bombings. And Lynn found out he went behind their back anyways. Well, not for the bombings. He got framed for robbing future industries. And so Bolin comes to his place. He's his cell. He's like, Yo, what's going on, brother? Sorry you got, sent to jail, but I don't know, sucks to suck. Anyways, he's like, oh, thanks. He's like, yeah, it really sucks that you got thrown in there, but it's fine, it's so chill. He's like, no, it's not all chill. But he's like, hey, Bolin, don't trust Varric, please, for the love of everything that you love. Don't trust him. He's like, maybe. What do you mean maybe? Maybe it's fine. Don't worry about it. And so he leaves. And then Bolin's going to the premiere of like the last episode of Nuktuk, and he's basically become like a celebrity this entire by this point. So he's watching Nuktuk, and he's like, no, Nuktuk. And so he's watching Nuktuk and just vibing. And what's it called? He sees that basically President Raiko is getting kidnapped, and so he sees President Raiko from getting kidnapped, and then he's like, what, like, who sent you? They're like, don't hurt me, Nuktuk. Varric. It was Varric. And then he's like, oh my god, Varric, how could you? And then Varric's like, oh, time to leave. And Varric gets arrested. And everyone's like, oh my god, Bolin, you did it. And he's like, yep, I did. I am the greatest. And so Bolin saved the president, which was a plot point that happened. So yeah, Varric's whole thing didn't really go anywhere. It was just that. That's all it was. So after that, they're like, all right, cool. Uh, we gotta. Hey, President Raiko, can you help the Southern Water Tribe? Because like, Unlock's about to like release Satan, and they're like, no. It's like, what? What do you mean no? He's like, see, I appreciate you saving me, but here's the thing: if he's about to do what you says he's gonna do, then we need our troops here to defend our city. And they're like, brother, which makes sense, but it's like, man, if it ain't one thing, it's always another. So they're like, okay, we gotta go in there and figure out what's going on. We gotta go in there and stop this guy. So this Korra's like, all right, I gotta go get Tenzin. So this entire time, Tenzin and his kids have been having like a whole like side thing. It's like Tenzin and his kids have been going to like the different air temples. Uh, they've been going around. They found like Janora found like Avatar One's the statue was made for him. He made there's statues for all the avatars in like the southern air temple, and or the western. I don't fucking remember, dude. But there's one for Wan, and it lit up when Korra was going through her Wan experience. uh, but yeah, they've been trying to basically. They had like a side plot where Bumi and Kaya, who are both Aang's kids and brothers of Tenzin, they're like, hey, what's going on? They have like they're like hashing out their familial problems with the kids, with them being kids of Aang, but not airbenders, and Bumi's a non-bender, so like they have that dynamic going on between all three of them. And so Korra goes to get Tenzin's help to try and close a spirit portal through the spirit world, because she can't get to it. She can't get to the northern one because all of his guys are going to be there, and she can't get to the southern one because all his guys are going to be there. So she's like, all right, I need help. And so Tenzin spends like a whole episode trying to help her get into the spirit world, but he's never been there, which he tells like halfway through. So he's like, yeah, I want to help get you in there, Avatar. I've never been able to do it myself, but this must be my time. And she's like, okay, well. Janora, though, in this entire time has been able to see spirits, and so she's like, yeah, she may be more spiritually inclined, so let her try. And so Janora helps Korra get into the spirit world, and then they get lost, or at least Korra gets lost, and then Janora gets captured by Unalaq because freaking the owl from the first show from The Last Airbender, he's like, yes, you all suck buns. I'm going to help him because he's a friend to the spirits. I'm like, man, you suck. Like, brother is not a friend to the spirits, but whatever, man. So he's like, yep, I'm going to do this thing. And so Jinora gets caught. Korra tries to help her and stops to close the spirit portal, but she can't. Unalaq beats the crap out of her because he went through the spirit portal, so he has his bending. Korra does not have her bending because she didn't go through the portal. So Jinora gets stuck in the spirit realm, and Tenzin's like, "Oh my god, my daughter is stuck." So they have to now save Jinora as well. So they went to Republic City, get everyone up. They go past the defenses, and they're like, "Okay, we need to go by and we need to go and we need to go and save Janora." So they get by. They're like, "All right, let's go." The what's it called? They try to they try to attack from above. Does not work. They crash. They all get caught. And then Unalaq's like, "Well, it's almost time to convergence. See you later, idiots. I'm gonna come back and kill you, Korra." And it's like, "All right, well, crap, we lost." And then Boomy gets an army of spirits to like wreak havoc along the whole place. Not on purpose, but yeah, he does that. It's like, "Oh my god, Boomy, how'd you do that?" And he's like, "Because I'm goated." Not what he says, but he might as well have said it. Because I'm just him. I'm goated. Don't worry about it. So from there, Korra goes in to fight Unalaq. She fights Unalaq, or she goes in to fight Unalaq and Vatu. She sends Unalaq out of the spirit world during harmonic convergence. Mako and Bolin try to keep him at bay. Uh, while Korra fights Vatu, and she's actually like beating him, and she's about to win. But Eska and Desna come to save Unalaq from getting like clowned on by these two, and he's just like, "All right, well, time to go in." Goes in, saves Vatu, and then fuses with him and becomes the Dark Avatar. But because he never got those other elements, all he can do is bend water just better. So he starts fighting Korra. Korra gets the Avatar state, fights him again, and then Vatu ends up ripping Rava out of Korra and starts beating the crap out of Rava. And so she loses connection. She lost all connection with the past avatars because Rava got cooked. She's like, "Well, that's a problem." And now Korra's just like struggling to even do anything. And so Unalaq and Vatu's like, "Yep, all right, time to leave." And so they're like, "Time for 10,000 years of darkness." And so they turn into a freaking kaiju. I wish I was kidding. They turn into a freaking kaiju. And they're like, "Okay, cool. So now we're gonna blow everything up. Start in Republic City." It's to go to Republic City and start blowing things up with his trademarked trombone beam. And the only reason I call it his trombone beam is because every time he fires it, it sounds like they're using it. It sounds like a trombone. Like, go back and listen to it. Like, I'll probably put a clip. It's just like freaking. It's trombone beam. That's why I call it. But from there, he's like, "All right, well, of course, well, we lost." And he's like, "No, Korra, the Tree of Time, it helps you get memories and stuff." I forgot what the whole logic was, but Korra used the Tree of Time to essentially like use her spirit, uh, to project her spirit to go fight the kaiju, and Korra gets a spirit kaiju and goes to fight them, and then Eska and Desna, what's it called? They join Team Avatar, I guess, because Bolin talks about how he has had real feelings for Eska. He was just scared of them and whatever. Like I stopped caring at that point. Which is weird because like not weird that I didn't care, but it was weird how he's like, "I had feelings for you," when he like was. So I think he was supposed to be like dating Ginger now, but like he stopped because of whatever. I guess I don't know, man. It was weird. It was just so strange. But yeah, it was like, "Oh, I was afraid of my true feelings for you." I was like, "All right, man, like just cut it out, please." So that was Bolin's thing. Like I don't really know, man, but we had that. Uh, from there, they's like, "All right, well, I'm gonna date Eska now. I was like, okay, well, whatever. So he starts dating Eska, which just was so strange. Like I can't even talk about how strange it was. It was just very strange. But he starts like dating Eska for like 5 seconds, and then like he kissed her. So from after that, they're like, okay, well, Korra's gonna go fight Unalaq now. So he goes to fight her with her own like synth wave is what I called it because it sounds. I swear it's like she's doing a synth, like a synth sound for her little giant beam attack. So we now have the trombone beam versus the synth wave. So the trombone beam starts like losing, and then Korra's like, I'm gonna pull out Rava, and he's like, Rava's gone, even though they told us like I think like not even like 2 hours ago, like from Showtime. They're like, hey, yeah, I can't kill. Rava's like, I can't kill Vatu, and he can't kill me. If he does, I'll come back in like I don't know 5 minutes because light can't kill dark and dark can't kill light. So he's like, Rava's gone. I'm like, you of all people should know that's not how this works. Like you of all people should know that's not how this works. And she's looking around for Rava. She can't find him. And Janora, Tenzin and Bumi and Kaya went to go find Janora. They're like, where's Janora? And they find Janora. And then Janora's like, oh my goodness, I'm going to go and help Korra. And then she comes back with, I think she found, I don't know what she did. She showed up with like a light ball in her hand. And then like, all of a sudden Rava is like there. She's like, and Korra's like, oh, there's Rava. And then she goes to grab Rava. And then she's like, oh, I got her. And Valtyr's like, no! And then Korra does the spirit bending crap, and then she brings back Rava, and then defeats Unavatu and his trombone beam. And like that was it. She beats him, and that was it. I don't think there was much else going on during that. I don't think, anyways. I could be wrong. I don't remember. Uh, yeah, I think that was it. Honestly, was there anything else? I didn't. I don't. I really don't think so. It's like, oh, you did it. The day was saved by Avatar Korra. And I. Oh yeah, and then like the spirit portals were opened, and like because the spirit portals were opened, like vines were covering all of Republic City, and then she goes back. She fuses with Rava again. Gets her avatar abilities, get avatar state back, but she doesn't get the past lives. That's been cut because they lost their kill streak. And they're like, well, time to close the spirit portals, Korra. And she's like, so what if I didn't? And I'm like, Korra, what are you talking about? What do you mean you didn't? What do you mean if you didn't? She's like, what if Juan was wrong? Maybe we should keep him open. And I'm just sitting here like, Korra, are you stupid? So this is basically the end of like the season. Like she leaves them open, and that's it. She leaves the spirit portals open so spirits and humans can live together. So here's the problem I'm having. So we're done with this. So uh, I think Korra's an idiot. He let the spirit portals open. That was dumb. That was a bad decision, and here's why. During the Avatar wand section, Wand's getting like tossed around by Vatu. And he's like, I broke down the barrier between the spirit world and the material world. What hope do you think you have at beating me? And so I'm like, oh, so the spirit world and the material world were separate at one point, but Vatu broke down the barrier and flooded the human world with chaos because all the spirits demolished the humans because humans can't kill spirits. And you want any proof? Like, just watch the show. They haven't killed a single spirit has never died. They haven't killed a single spirit. Like, the humans lost. They can't kill spirits. They fought the dark spirits in the Avatar 1 thing. There was like an army of firebenders, and they all lost. They can't kill spirits. It's just like, it's not something you can do. So, like, I'm just sitting here like, okay, so Korra, you saw what happened, and you definitely heard that Vatu is the reason why the world was like that. He broke down the barrier between the material and spirit worlds. The spirits got into the material world because humans couldn't respect them. They all just got like smoked, like generationally, like it was bad. So like, why would you think it's a good idea to open the portals again? That's such a bad idea. Like humans can't live with spirits like on a large scale like that without being monitored. They can't do that. And at the end, she's like, I am no longer going to be the bridge between the spirits and humans. You need to learn to live together. And I'm like, Korra, the whole reason that portals were closed was because they can't do that. Humans barely live with each other without getting into a fight. Why would you put that all on them? The Avatar's whole thing was to help them get along. They can't do it on their own. Like sure, small amounts of people. Like Juan was able to live with spirits, sure, and like the Avatar, the Airbenders. We had to see the Airbenders who were able to live with they were able to live with some spirits in the Avatar Juan section. We got to see that someone who can do that. That's not a thing that they can just consistently do on a large scale, like a small village, at most, right? Anything else, that's just not gonna work. That's just not gonna work, Korra. You nincompoop. You fool. You foolish fool. Actually, is what I should call you. So yeah, she opened the spirit portals and left them open, and she's like, "You guys need to learn to get along. I'm not gonna do anything." I'm like, Korra, you can't be serious. You cannot be serious. Okay, whatever. So she's like, "Yep, I'm gonna let this slide. I'm just gonna let you guys do this on your own." So when I was watching to see how Korra destroyed the world, I found out in season two, she left the spirit portal open, and so spirits destroy the world. And that's how that would play out, and that's how it did play out. Like Korra, are you kidding me? You can't just leave humans to their own devices when it comes to like spirits. It's not a thing. Not a thing you can do. They don't play nice. Like worst case scenario, humans will try to colonize the spirit world, and then they're gonna get like pushed out. That's like worst. That's like best case scenario, honestly. Best case scenario. That's what I was assuming was gonna happen. But as we find out in later seasons, it was so much worse than anything I could have imagined. So we'll get there when we get there. But that is all the story for Legend of Korra season two. Now we get to talk about the characters. So we'll start with Korra, just like we did with everybody else. Korra, I don't know what I don't know what she was on this season. I don't know what she was on for season two. Like for the first like five, like the half of the season, she just has like some attitude, and she's taking out Mako for the most part. She's taking out Mako. She's like acting like an absolute villain. Like she is going nuts. Now, I will say, Korra has always been like someone who is very headstrong. It can be kind of brash and impulsive. That's not anything new, but she gets very close to like just again villain territory. Chaotic at best, right? At best, we could say she's being very chaotic this season with just how she's been dealing out like justice, specifically with that judge. But that wasn't really justice. As far as she knew, that was a fair trial. That was just like a vendetta specifically because her dad was about to go to jail. So yeah, like like sure you can make an argument. It's like yeah, he didn't do anything though. Like sure, like you can make that argument because yeah, he didn't do anything, but he was found guilty by the justice system. The the meeting was held in his house, so I can see that happening. like today, where it's like, ah, well, I didn't do anything. Well, the meeting was held in your house. You didn't try to get them out. You didn't report them. You didn't do any of that. So I can see someone going to jail for that. But outside of that, Korra just kind of had like a whole attitude. And at first, it seemed like they're trying to like she was talking to Mako and she apologized to him for like her attitude, like season three, episode three, where she's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I've been a lot." And I think initially what I thought they were trying to do was like set up like her being stressed as the avatar, and that's why she was being like so moody. But I'm like, that can't be it. So I watched it over again because there's no way she didn't even seem stressed. There wasn't much going on. So I watched it second time, and I'm like, okay. I think they're trying to have her just be a lot more cocky and confident because she's just coming off the high of beating him on, which sat a bit. Sat that idea sat better with me, but I don't like how she was behaving still. And she's like, "Oh yes," da, 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 da. And then she like gets cooked by that spirit, and then when she gets out of that, all of her attitude is just gone. She lost her memories and gained some chill, which I'm just like, how? Like, I guess a near death experience can like be really humbling, but like, dude, I was like, why are you acting like this, Cora? Why are you like this? And then she's like, "Yep, I'm fine now." Like, okay, okay, whatever. Cora, beginning of season two, was very interesting, to say the least. Like I was just getting annoyed with her. The second half, I was like she was seemed back to normal. Like she was like not just like taking her anger out on everybody. So that was neat. But everything else, I'm like, Cora, what is your major malfunction? What is your deal? Why are you being such a douche nozzle? But yeah, I don't like. I get this what they're trying to do. Like I get what they were trying to do. Like they're trying to have Cora be like all cocky and whatnot. Then she got humbled, and then she gets humbled again, which kind of didn't ring as well as I think they wanted to because like Cora just didn't seem like cocky. She just seemed very agitated with everybody for no reason. Like she didn't seem cocky to me. That's what that read to me. Like Mako was like, "Oh, what? He's trying to help." She's like, "Why are you always picking his side?" Like, what? Huh? I just said I think he's trying to help. What are you talking about? And she just keeps snapping at everybody. That's not what that read like to me. It read like she was just had an issue with everybody for some reason. So that didn't feel like how that was supposed to be. And then yeah, then like later on she's like, I'm fine now. I was like, all right, well, cool. And then the spirit portal. I already said how I felt about the spirit portal thing. Like, Corey, you literally destroyed the world by doing that. Like, uh, how how could you think that was a good idea? Like, I get the idea behind it. I get the thought process, but that no, bad idea. She's like, oh, I think that Avatar One was wrong. Korra, you saw how the world was. You saw how the world was with humans and spirits living together. if if you're gonna have that work, you need to be the avatar and actually, monitor it. And she just says, "I'm not going to do that." Okay, all right, cool. Not a fan of her this season. She was, she got better as it went on, but after like episode like 6 or 7, because that was like the after the one episode. But like, man, she was not doing herself any favors for the first 3 episodes. Bolin. Uh, Bolin was very, very interesting this season. Not because he did anything interesting, Like he had a plot with Varric that didn't go anywhere. Like Varric was war profiteer. Oh yeah, he escaped at the end, by the way. He's like had a plot with like doing movies and then stopped Varric from like, you know, doing stuff. That was about it. He didn't really go anywhere. That didn't really matter. That wasn't just me who felt like that didn't matter. Because like no, actually no, it quite literally didn't do nothing happened. Like he's like, oh yes, Varric. Anyways, and that was that. Like nothing changed because of that. We didn't get any like development for Bolin's character. Nothing really happened. He just found out Varric was war profiteering and trying to start a war, and that was it. And I don't like how they treated him this season. I'm gonna be real. They had him. He was doing other stuff, which is fine, but they just kind of had him like on these romantic escapades, especially with Eska and Desna. Well, not with Desna, but specifically with Eska. Like, there's like, yeah, no, he just doesn't he doesn't have a backbone. Like, I can see him being too nice, but they're like, yeah, no, he's just being like bullied by Eska, and no one's helping him. I'm like, dude, help him, and they're like, nah. I'm like, all right, y'all suck, all of you. Every single one of you sucks. Asami, you suck. Korra, you suck. Mako, you suck. No one's helping him. And then he was like, Korra, why did you tell me that like Eska was like an ice princess? Like, why did you tell me she was freaking like? Why'd you tell me she's like this? He's like, I thought it was obvious. Like, all right, well then help him, because he's like, it wasn't obvious to me. No, I'm a bad judge of people's character. I'm like, okay, fair enough, but help him, please. No. Why? Why are you leaving him to suffer like this? Boys are better. Outside of that, I didn't really like how they had him with Ginger either. Because Ginger's like, yeah, I'm not interested. He's like, but you're interested in Nuktuk's Bolin. She's like, no, I'm not. And he just didn't seem to get the concept after she told him multiple times. And at the very end, Ginger's like, oh, yes, now we're dating. And he's like, okay, cool. So he got what he wanted. And then all of a sudden, he's like, nah, I'm gonna smooch Eska. What? 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 I don't get it. It just it I think they mishandled a lot of the characters this season. Like Mako, for example. So I was neglecting to talk about Mako for like a good amount of that, mostly because there wasn't much going on outside of the investigation thing, but also with the romance subplot where he does a mess up. So Mako didn't really have much going on. He didn't have much of a character this season either. But what he decides to do is once Korra comes back from losing her memories and like uh finding out the story of Avatar 1 and trying to get help. She's like, yeah, Mako, I missed you. And then she kisses him. And Mako's like, you're not mad? She's like, why are you mad? She's like, we had a fight. It's like, oh, was it a bad one? No, it's fine. Right at, like, this is the day after Asami kissed him. Like, that's fine. And then what's worse off is everybody they know in the room. This is like when, like, after Bolin saves the president. It's like everybody they know in the room stares at Mako and watches him lie to her face, and they don't speak up. I was like, all right. Not even Asami says anything. I'm like, all right, Bolin, Asami, Tenzin, Lin, y'all know better than that. Come on now. Everyone else wasn't super connected to that to their relationship, so like whatever. But like, I'm just like, you guys know for a fact that they aren't dating anymore. And Asami just gives him a look, and that's it. And then the rest of the season, Mako's trying to like break up with Korra again, or just like, tell her like they broke up. And then he doesn't do it. And then at the very end, they're like, "Oh yeah, so I knew." Korra's like, "Yeah, my memories came back when I was in the Tree of Time. I found out we broke up." And he's like, "Oh okay." And she's not mad at him for it, which fine, whatever. I'd be pissed, but like I was like, "What, Mako? Why?" Like he wasn't bad this season, but he wasn't good either. He was fine, and then he does that. I'm like, Mako, you just can't. when it comes to romance, they don't know what they're doing with just Mako in particular. And I was like, dude, you've got to be kidding me. Like Mako just, I don't know, man. It's they need to stop with Mako in particular. Stop trying to give him a love interest because it isn't working. They don't know what to do with him, and whenever they figure out what they want to do with him, it's bad. So doesn't work out very well with Mako. So I'd appreciate it if they stopped. But yeah, then we got Asami, who also wasn't really doing much this season either. Like she had stuff to do, but it never really went anywhere. Like her stuff was mostly attached to either Mako or Bolin. And then when it wasn't, it just wasn't anything. So she wanted to rebuild future industries, but that was all she was doing. She wasn't doing anything else. She wasn't getting involved in the plot. Like she was kind of there. And then when we went to the final battle, they just left her home. Like she just didn't do anything. It's like, yeah, no, we're just, yeah, sorry, Asami. Like, brother, what? Why? You just left her there alone. Like not alone, obviously. Left Lynn there with Tenzin in there, and like Asami didn't get to do anything, and I was kind of upset about that. So Asami didn't do anything either. It was fucking ugh. And she got like bamboozled by Varric, like so did Bolin and everybody else, but like still. She didn't get to do a single thing this season. And we come to Unalaq, which he was interesting. The Civil War thing was interesting. I thought that was gonna be the plot for the season. That was pretty cool. It was like, ah, yes, I'm going to occupy the South and do this thing. And then Korra lost some memories. And then all of a sudden, it's like, we gotta stop Unalaq. He's gonna open a spirit portal. And he's working with Vatu. And I was like, what? Huh? Wait, what? Why? How? Excuse me? How is he working with Vatu? When did this happen? Because we don't get an answer about how he is talking with Vatu and he's going to free Vatu. And they're on the same page about it. Why is he working with Vatu? Why is that a thing he's doing? That doesn't make any sense. Don't worry about it. Okay. We don't get an answer. So it's like, alright, cool. And then he wants to bring an age of spirits by bringing on 10,000 years of darkness. And here's the thing, I'd be fine with the idea that he wanted to help the spirits, but got like bamboozled by Vatu. But no, he seems like he's pretty aware of what he's doing. He's like, yep, gonna bring out 10,000 years of darkness. And I'm like, okay. Question, why? Like, why are you doing this? Why is this okay? But outside of the like, bam, like you see, because like he seemed like because from the start he was like socially engineering core pretty good. Like if you watch this show when when they're talking about like, oh yeah, Tarlock, yeah, Tarlock, freaking. I also he like whoops Tarlock. He kind of cheated, but he does whoop Tarlock, which is a pretty fun fight. But he's like, yep, freaking Avatar. Like the moment he found out that she didn't know anything about the spirits going on with the South Pole, he jumped on that immediately. He's like, "Oh, you should teach learn to me." Yeah. He started pushing it every chance he got. So that was pretty neat to see now on the second watch through. But what wasn't neat was how he was like doing like a thing with the Civil War thing, and then all of a sudden he's teaming up with Satan. So I don't know why they chose to go that route. The political intrigue was pretty, intriguing, but they decided to just toss it away at the last minute. I was like, all right, well, what? Okay, what am I watching this for? You know. So like, he's like, I'm going to become the Dark Avatar, and then the thing is, he's like, I'm going to bring out 10,000 years of darkness, and he starts attacking Republic City first, which I don't know why. That doesn't make any sense. Like, anywhere else, probably would have been better. But like whatever, because nowhere else knew you were coming. But whatever, man. I don't really care. Like I'd buy if he attacked the Southern Water Tribe first to subjugate them because he knows they didn't like him. Because at some point, they're like Tom Rock's waiting for Korra to come back with reinforcements. They'd stop. They like, yeah, we can't wait anymore, and so they start attacking. So I would have just like attacked the Southern Water Tribe personally, but like whatever. But I don't know. Maybe it was too much water or something. I don't know. But yeah, they start doing that, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not a fan of whatever it is that Udalok's doing. I'm gonna be real. And then he just kept doing it. So he was cool at first, and then he just kind of, eh. Just I'm gonna blow up the world. Why? Whatever, man. So yeah, Legend of Korra Season 2. It was a season. Like, I liked it the second time I watched it. Well, I liked it more the second time I watched it, but this first season, like, the first season was kind of like, not the first season, the first time I watched it was, I was mostly just hung up on Korra's attitude. Because she was, like, really just snapping at everybody for no reason. I'm like, Korra, what is your damage? Wow, you like this? And then she's like, like, alright, Korra. Like, what the fuck? And then she's like, alright, I'm chill. I'm like, alright, fine, whatever. And it's like, now we got Udalok being, like, Mega Satan. I'm like, what? For why? For why? Shut up. Okay. So, yeah. But second watch, it was fine. Like, it's not my favorite characterization of all the characters, but it's there. It exists. So give Legend of Korra Season 2 like a, I don't know, like a 5 out of 10. I can watch it, but I don't really like it that much. Maybe 4. Give it a 4. Give it a 4 out of 10. I can watch it, won't really like it. There you go. Yeah, that's what I think of Legend of Korra Season 2. Yeah, I'll call that there. But yeah, I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.